Will you please state your name and a little bit about your military experience?
Thomas Andrew Steinhauer. I was in the 37th Infantry Brigade Combat Team and the 2nd 107th Cav in the National Guard for 8 years. And I was enlisted as a soldier, and then I did that for about 3 years as an intel analyst, and then after that I was offered the opportunity to go to Alabama Military Academy, Officer Candidate School, and become an officer. One of the things that's probably a little bit different about me than most is I had to go through basic training and officer school, both of them. They're out there. There just aren't a whole lot of us. Like I said, I was an intel analyst. I basically would have boxes in a cage that I'd go unlock, get out the computers, set them up, wire them up, and then start using them. There'd be times that I would spend 12, 18-hour days just staring at a computer screen. Had a lot to do with maps. I had the highest clearance you could have in the Army. Never deployed overseas, but I've been to just about every place in country that somebody could go. Spent half my time in the Army in schools and training because of what my job description was. I went to basic training, and then I went to Arizona the first time after I graduated. My bad stories are different from probably some of the other people interviewed, because my bad days was sitting in front of a computer for 12 hours just plugging in info. That's all I did. Making spreadsheets, building products. But mainly that one 12-hour day, all I was doing was working Microsoft Excel to the max. And did that, and we went up to Camp Grayling, which is another place in Michigan, and they have biting ants up there. And I was doing it all. I was burying lines, digging like trenches, burying electrical lines. I spent an entire night just manually making overlays for the entire battalion, and Sergeant Federspiel, he put me up to that, and I think it took me 3 nights, and it was all that symbology and stuff that I was showing you on those maps. He's like, just keep working it. He's like, you can have all the Mountain Dew you want. He's like, there's a cooler over there. I didn't really drink pop, but I learned in the Army, and something my dad told me is if they offer you something free, you take it or use it or do whatever. And if anything else, you can always use it as a bartering tool somewhere down the line. So I did that, and we'd been talking. That was the first time that becoming an officer was ever brought up. I was talking to the XO, which I ended up working with after I became an officer in a different unit, still friends with me. And we were just sitting there with him and Captain Ratliff, which is Major Ratliff now, and they were talking. They're like, hey Steinhauer, what's this deal with officer school? I thought that I was too old to be like a lieutenant, because I was about 31 at that point, and I figured, you know, if I'm going to do this, I have to do it while I have some youth in me, but I wanted to sing for the military. That's what I really wanted to do. I did, but not in the way that I thought that I was going to.
Yeah, what was most difficult about your time in the military?
Being away from my family, even though I was in the United States, it was tough. Especially whenever I was in basic training in OCS, because everything's taken away.
Describe the best and worst day that you spent in the service.
Best day I had in the service, and I've been thinking, I had a chance to think about it. I had some good days. When I graduated basic training, that was a good day. For one, because I was getting out of that place, but also I was able to see my family there for a day for the first time in a couple months. Ask me what the worst day was. Like I said before, any day I was in Alabama was horrible. It just wasn't much fun at all. And I was in Arizona the first time, and like I said, I knew that my son was going to be born, and I had learned whenever I first got there that I wasn't going to be home whenever he was born. And I was on the phone pretty much all night. Shauna, that's my ex-wife, had went into labor, and I was up pretty much all night long, and he wasn't born until like 3:30 a.m. Arizona time. I remember that pretty well. And I was just totally exhausted. I thought that the drill sergeants were going to put me on quarters and I'd have like the next day off. So I run down, hadn't been to sleep because I had to report at like 04:15 a.m. Actually, I think it's about 4:30, and I ran down to see Drill Sergeant Cologne, which was like the highest drill sergeant. It's like, Drill Sergeant, my son was born last night. And he just looks at me, he's like, congratulations. And I was like, am I still going to have to do PT? And he's like, yeah. And that was tough.